Okay, well, thank you. Uh, I guess it's a bit of a tricky question. I mean, one tradition that immediately comes to mind for environmental and sustainability education research is action competence work over a number of decades and still getting taken up. So that would be one distinct European tradition, I guess, where the work that was done on that originally was done in Europe. Beyond that, the other thing that comes to mind is maybe more of a focus on education for sustainable development in policy, for example, in countries like Germany, Sweden, and other countries. And so there's more of a tendency for there to be research also taking up that focus on ESD, but not necessarily from a particular paradigm or approach of research. Beyond that, I think I just think of European scholars as contributing to more of a global scholarship in ESE and taking on a range of different approaches. I do, there's certain European, I guess, traditions of, say, work on democracy or more philosophical work that you might see taken up more than you would, say, in work in the US. Thanks. Well, I guess thinking about European scholarship really being part of a global scholarship that where we're working together across borders. I guess certainly work quite a bit with European colleagues on joint projects. And maybe one area in particular is around policy work that I've been working in the past decade or so, critical approaches to education policy and how that can be inform our understandings of ESE policy and practice. And so there's some other scholars doing work on policy in ESE in Europe. So the and some of that, quite a bit of that is in relation to ESD, I guess, coming back to the comments I had made earlier about maybe more of a focus on ESD in European research than, say, North American or Australasian, etc. Beyond that, I don't know. I think it's, I've been in North America and I'm now working out of the University of Melbourne in Australia. So they got a different kind of history and tradition of work, but those different communities come together at different conferences. And whether it's the European Conference of Educational Research, the American Educational Research Conference, or the Australian Research Conference, or then you get the specific ones, of course, that are focused on ESE. So I guess the scholarship from Europe in different areas comes into contact through those opportunities to meet in person, as well as through scholarly journals that go across borders. Well, I guess one thing that comes to mind, and I don't know if UK counts as Europe, but at the time that the journal was mainly was running out of the UK, it was definitely part of the European Union, and that would be the Journal of Environmental Education Research, which was at the University of Bath for a long time in England, and so I think that is a key publication venue that has been really important for environmental and sustainability education research around the world. So that's one thing that comes to mind. In terms of other things, maybe a book in terms of European publications, there's that participatory research in health and environmental education with a range of European authors that is, maybe a couple of decades old now, but it's a good one, and I think was around the sort of turn to participatory and social learning approaches. I guess that brings me to another, a couple of other books that Ariane Valls has done on social learning and transformative education, and kind of that trajectory of putting together edited books with a range of different contributors from Europe and elsewhere. Yeah, those are a few publications that come to mind kind of historically for the past few decades.